Howdy, howdy, ho, ho, ho!
Ho,
And
welcome
to the Brinx Truck and Hearse Christmas special.
Wow, I can't believe Christmas is already my favorite time of the year.
It's the best time of the year.
Yes, jingle, jingle, jangle.
I'm Ryan McNeil. This is Michael Ferrieri.
Yes, I am Michael Ferrieri, and this is Ryan McNeil.
Yes, we're going to introduce ourselves one more time.
My
name is Ryan McNeil.
And I am Michael Ferrieri.
And we love Christmas.
I do love Christmas. It's just so magical. The times are so magical.
It is very magical. The hot cocoa, the sledding, the
And
snow, which
yes.
sometimes doesn't arrive till January.
Yeah, but you know that is a whole other spirit in and of itself. The winter spirit, I would say.
The winter spirit. I know your favorite character is the Winter Warlock.
Yes, and Winter Warlock and Jack Frost is working mighty fine down there.
Oh yes, I am.
But
Now what did the Winter Warlock appear in?
well, I'm glad you asked. One of the greatest Christmas movies of all time. In fact, probably the definitive Christmas movie in my eyes. Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Claymation, of course. And has the Winter Warlock been in anything else, or is that
I
just?
don't think so.
Is that a native source?
I think it's a native source.
A native
It's
source.
a singularity that only exists in Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
I see. Well, Santa Claus is Coming to Town for me. I mean, just growing up, that was my Christmas Eve movie. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's when because I'm getting ready, Santa's coming. Got to put on Santa Claus.
Put on the
Coming to
origin
Town.
story.
Yeah, exactly. Got to know how he's come to be, and know where his head's at this Christmas season.
He's a ginger, which is the only.
Yes.
It's the only I think time Santa's ever been a ginger.
Only rendition.
Yeah, only rendition or mythos, I suppose, where Santa's a ginger. He's raised by all ginger elves as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Is he?
Well, a lot of them are old and have white hair.
Oh
There's
yeah.
Mama Kringle.
You're right. They're all. I think they're all pretty old.
Yeah.
There's Mama Kringle, and then there's the little.
There's 6 or 7 of them.
I don't know if they're elves or.
I think they're elves.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he grows up and he's much bigger than all of them.
Well, no, I know they're small. I just don't know if I would label them an elf.
Oh, okay. I guess that is one thing they don't explain is who builds all the toys when he does build his factory at the end. That's one of the few things I guess they don't get into.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're all pretty old, so I don't think there's any breeding past them.
I didn't think that far into it, Mike.
That's an interesting question. I mean, I guess they kind of just had a big demographic they were looking to fill in as employees.
They didn't have time to answer every question though.
No.
In that thing, they explain why he goes down the chimney, which I like. That's the only time I think that's been answered.
And I like the stocking explanation.
Yes, that's very good. Mm-hmm. And I also he's a criminal. I like how he has to grow his beard.
It's like Batman, basically.
He is Batman, more or less. I like how he has to grow his beard because he's literally on the run from the law. And they have the wanted posters up that say, he looks like this. That's the only reason he does it.
There's a lot of, the Burglarmeister, too. You see, the contrast, too, between the Santa Claus, or Kris Kringle, as they call him back then. He's a much more colorful character.
Yeah.
And, even though it's, hair, even though, the wife, or the person who comes to be Mrs. Claus.
Oh, yeah.
The teacher. I don't know what her name is.
Oh, my God, I know her name. I can't remember what it is.
Whatever, but she also has orange hair, but it's nowhere near as bright as his. So there's such a nice contrast, you know? Because this town is dark and gray, no toys allowed. And
it's literally called Somber Town.
Is it?
Yeah.
I never caught that.
Yeah.
I never caught that.
It was always very scary when they literally round up the children and make them watch their toys burn in the middle of the street.
Isn't there one where, oh no, that's Santa that does it, where he basically just, you give me a kiss, I give you a toy.
Yeah, that song's so creepy. If you sit on my lap today,
a kiss and toy is the price you'll pay. My dad always sings that song too when Christmas starts. I mean, he does it every year, all year round. But
all year round.
All year round, he's singing Christmas.
Walking down the beach.
Yes.
I also I know we both love the put one foot in front of the other song as well.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely slaps.
Of course, and it's a Christmas song. It's a song in a Christmas movie, but it's not a Christmas song.
Yes, exactly. The whole song is quite much about. It's quite motivational, really. about getting yourself on the right track, and it could have been in like a Disney movie. And it would have applied in any different place.
That's a good point. Could have very well may been in a Disney movie.
Yeah.
And if it was, it would have blown up because I don't think like you are one of the only other people that I know that has seen these movies.
You as well, and I've never met someone who likes them as much as you either. Like I've met people who like, oh yeah, I saw them when I was a kid. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They remember Heat Miser, Snow Miser.
Yeah,
that's all I've seen Year Without Santa Claus. But like you love those things. Like everyone's actually like, what's your favorite? And you were like, the stop motion stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I never met someone who likes them that much, and I have the VHS tapes. We play them every year.
Well, I have it's like a DVD set, and in the set is Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph, and then there's the little drummer boy, but then there's also not stop motion stuff. So there's the cartoon Frosty.
Oh, okay.
Movie. Have you seen that? I'm sure
it's not very good.
Yeah, I mean, I have to watch it again, but I don't remember.
I don't remember it being great.
Frosty kind of reminds me of Peter Griffin for some reason.
Actually,
and it like
similar animation
makes me
actually.
feel very weird about it. It's like only like 20. It's like 40 minutes, I think.
Oh,
maybe
it's
even
like
shorter.
25.
Yeah,
or
I think
something.
it's like
it's
20.
the shortest of any of those things, I think. I just watched Little Drummer Boy yesterday, or the day before, for the first time ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had never seen it for whatever reason because I don't play it as much on much as TV as you could imagine. It's very religious, obviously.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the reasons I also don't play it is because it doesn't it kind of lumps all Arabs together. But the special is it's fine. You know, there's a few like strange original songs that didn't need to be in there. But the ending when he actually goes to the baby Jesus and there's like a sheep or something that broke his leg or something.
Yeah.
And the baby Jesus heals it. It's a nice little sweet ending.
But
I understand why it's not held in regard as the others.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't watch that one every year, but I do find it nice to see like a religious take on it. I guess. Like,
I agree.
I don't know. But it's just so weird seeing that it's clearly made by the same company. I would assume.
Yeah, Rankin Bass made all of them.
Oh, Rankin Bass? That's what their name is?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like kind of weird seeing that. Oh, they have the Heat Miser and Santa and Mother Nature and all these like mythical characters, and then they'll have like the manger setting. Yeah. Which is animated in the same way. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, because the other ones won't even mention Christianity because they're trying to stick with the Santa stuff, but then they make one literally solely on that, set in that world. But I do think Rudolph is genuinely the best one out of any of them. Like I think that's genuinely.
Really?
I think Rudolph is genuinely great.
Like as a story.
Yeah. I think all the songs in it are really good.
Okay.
I think all the characters are memorable. There's no part of it that really drags. Like I think that one is legitimately really, really good.
I have to say, I'm not crazy. I mean, like, I love Rudolph, but it's not my, like... I would pick a lot more movies over it.
Okay, interesting.
And another, like, stop-motion one that I think is the best one is A Year Without Santa Claus.
Year Without Santa Claus is...
That's the same company, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is. It's so wild when you really get down to it.
Yeah.
So much happens in, like, a 40-minute span. And... Again, it's one of those things that I do really applaud because it's very different. It's very creative. Like it creates the new characters of Heat Miser, Snow Miser, which this could have been horrible. Yeah. But that song's really good. They're both different enough.
I think they're the best part of the movie.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I remember. No, but it's just kind of a cool idea that like, oh, he's sick. Okay, no Christmas, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they go to a generic South town. They named the kid Ignatius Thistlewhite. And then his father sings a song called I Believe in Santa Claus. Or I Still Believe in Santa Claus, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I remember that song being pretty good.
And they also have...
And the original song, A Year Without Santa Claus, it sounds like a traditional carol.
Yes, yeah.
I think everything in that is original songs, actually.
No, they have Blue Christmas at the end.
That's right. That's so sad when the little girl
sings Blue
Christmas.
I mean, I love Blue Christmas. Shout out Elvis.
Yes, the king.
But the king, baby. But that was horrible. Cut that out. But I just think like the expansion with the misers, and then they make a Miser Brother Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Where they have the Wind Miser.
Oh, I don't remember. I know they made it like 10 years ago or something like that.
It's their most recent, and I don't think.
Yeah, I think that the two Rankin and Bass might have been dead by this time.
Well, yeah, but I think the studio can keep going.
Yeah.
I pray that they make another movie, but yeah, but the Miser mythos, I don't know. It's so neat to me.
Just that little bit where it's like, oh, there's a guy who controls winter, a guy who controls heat, and then their mom is Mother Nature. It makes you interested already. Like, oh, there must be more to this. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And they don't push it any further, so it all stays good. You don't get sick of any of it. Mm-hmm. It leaves you wanting more, which is always good.
And I think in the Miser Brother Christmas, there's more than just the Wind Miser. There's more misers than the three of them. They're like minor misers.
Minor misers.
Like they just control like little things.
Okay.
Nothing crazy, but yeah. But it's also weird because then there's the Jack Frost one. They make it. Have you watched that one?
I don't. It was a stop motion one just about Jack Frost. No, I don't
that
think so.
one. It's not really a Christmas movie. It's more like a Groundhog Day movie.
Okay.
But it is it's really good.
Okay.
I actually just watched it for the first time like maybe a year ago, 2 years ago.
Okay.
But like it's kind of weird because then there's Jack Frost, but then they have the Snow Miser. So I'm like,
stepping on each other's feet.
Yeah. I probably shouldn't ask too far into it, but
I remember seeing a long time ago Rudolph's Shiny New Year, and I remember it being very bad and very strange. There's a dinosaur in it.
Yes,
there's a knight, a medieval knight is in it, I believe. If I'm thinking of the right one.
Yes, and there's the New Year baby, but then there's the big vulture Eon.
Yes,
the bad guy.
Yeah,
that movie's crazy.
Yeah,
but you get Father Time.
Father Time isn't that?
So that's cool. That's cool. I always like when they push the. I don't know. I like the mythos.
This relates to the Santa Claus too. We were just talking about. We like how it builds on.
Yeah.
They got there's a council of all the mythical creatures, and they're all they all meet for some reason. So they make sure everyone's staying in line, or for whatever reason.
Tooth Fairy wants his name changed
to Roy.
The Molinator. I like that one. That one was cool. But and I think in Santa Claus 3 too, they're a much bigger part.
They do. Because I know Sandman plays a role in getting the parents up.
Yeah, he goes into the real world.
Yeah,
Sandman, and then someone else. I think I forget who. Maybe the Tooth Fairy.
I know Mother Nature gets some screen time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know they're all in it again.
Because I know Jack Frost wants to be a part of the council, but they're not letting him. So he's just like, I think like the motivation is like I should become Santa Claus so that he's in the council so that he can do his bidding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I said to you the other day, I think it's the most complicated kids movie I may have ever seen.
It is. It's insane.
There's alternate timelines, and
there's the clauses.
A level of time travel. There is time travel because they go back to the first movie.
Yes.
And then they rewrite history, and then they're in an alternate timeline. Then they have to reverse it, and then it's very Back to the Future too, where like, what's the bad timeline look like? And I remember it being just
I've never seen that movie.
Too messy. Oh, okay. But I just remember it being too messy.
I have to watch it again.
I probably would. I haven't seen it in full in ages.
I watched it last year, but I'm really not paying attention during Christmas movies. I'm kind of just like, it's Christmas, yeah.
And it's hard to really watch them objectively because the nostalgia washes over me.
But like the Santa Claus movie, it's so like it can be like so like deep and like intense. Where like I mean, like I said, like we just watched the Santa Claus 2 last night. The love story between him and her and whatever principal Carol, it like super good stuff for a Christmas movie, especially a kid's Christmas movie and a Santa Claus movie, whatever. But then like the Santa Claus 3, where this guy's like literally trying to kill him. Jack Frost is trying to kill him to take over his job. Like that's insane.
Yeah,
for a Disney-based film.
All right, Mikey, let me just ask you then. What is your favorite Christmas movie of all time? You could only pick one.
Oh.
The end all and be all.
Very, very simple for me. Give me an E. Give me an L. Give me an F. Elf. Will Ferrell, James Caan. Elf, baby. The best movie. Honestly, I would watch that year round if I could. But I don't know, something holds me back.
You just feel unclean when you watch a Christmas movie any other time.
Unclean. That's a great word, actually.
There's something just wrong about it.
Yeah. just some of the best comedy in movies that I watch. Like I get such a good laugh from it.
Yeah, I think the most underrated piece of it is because Will Ferrell obviously is like in his prime. He's doing his thing. He's bought fully into the role.
Yeah.
And like an actor couldn't like if he just like if an actor gave 75%, it wouldn't have worked. But because he's given 100, it works. But just as important is James Caan's reactions. And just him being such a straight man, and you can tell he's just so sick of it. And he snaps fairly early on when he bails him out of prison and he pins him up against the wall and he asks him what he wants. Their whole back and forth is so good. And it's kind of real because I know the two of them didn't get along on set apparently.
Really?
Apparently, James Caan said on the last day of shooting, like, I was waiting for you to be funny, and it didn't happen. But then at the premiere, when he saw the movie, James Caan said, I wasn't sure what you were doing, but good job. It worked out.
Oh my God, what the heck?
Yeah.
The look in his eyes that Caan gives like all the time when like Buddy's doing something like weird is just like so good. Where he's like, it's so funny. But
what do you think of Jovi?
Oh, Jovi. She was great. Love Jovi. Also, another great love story in a Christmas movie.
It is good. It's the same as like I don't know like what I'd compare it to because it's not like Santa Claus 2, but kind of in a similar way of like you have to like convince someone to like come into that world and like you realize you're so different than the other person, and it is kind of believable that Buddy is like he's still new to the world, but he's showing Jovi how to just have fun with anything. And their little date montage to the Sinatra song is always so sweet. You just kind of buy the relationship just based off of that.
I think like what makes this a better story, like love story than Santa Claus 2 is because it's so much more believable because he's an elf becoming like learning how to become human, who's an actual human.
Yeah.
When in Santa Claus 2, she's just like, oh my God, he's Santa Claus. Yeah, I'll marry him.
Yeah.
And give up my life and
her very successful life already.
Yeah. So like Buddy continues on, you know.
Yeah.
So it's much more believable. And I think like the date scene is the one time he only wears regular clothes. And the one time he goes to work with his dad. Francisco.
Yeah. Francisco. That's a purpley dress, very purpley. But yeah, that might be the only two scenes because it's right after the date when he goes into the boardroom.
Yeah.
And he has a great scene with Peter Dinklage.
Oh, yeah. Super good.
So good.
I remember what I was going to say now. What do you think? So, Jim Carrey was going to play Buddy. But I don't know what happened. Maybe he was just like up for the audition. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think that would have been?
I believe he was attached for quite some time to do it. And then they're just scheduling. It fell through. Ended up doing The Grinch. Didn't want to do another Christmas movie. Whatever it might have been. And a lot of people like say that like, oh, it could have been Jim Carrey, but nobody could do it with Will Ferrell. I think the movie still would have been really flipping good if it was Jim Carrey. It might not have the same magic, but like it goes from like a 5-star movie to maybe a 4 with Jim Carrey. I don't think it's that big a difference. I think the dramatic stuff Carrey would have hit even harder than Ferrell.
Yes, dramatic stuff Carrey would have been a lot better, but I think the comedy would have been a different tone. Like
it would have been a little different.
What makes Will Ferrell so good in the movie is that it's more of like an innocent comedy when like he really doesn't like he's just being goofy because he just doesn't know better or anything.
Yeah.
But I feel like Jim Carrey would kind of just sell it where he's just like a kooky guy.
Yeah, I think another problem would be is that Carrey already has such control over his face.
Yeah.
He would contort it and really buy into it and sell it, which sounds good, but I think it works better that Will Ferrell just looks like a guy who could work at a gas station. So it just looks like, oh, it's this normal looking dude doing the stuff. Jim Carrey looks like an elf. It's nothing crazy when he acts like one.
Yes.
So I do think Ferrell sells it better that he's this 6'3" dude who acts this way, which works better than what Carrey would have been.
Yeah, and like Ferrell almost has like kind of like in the movie, he's almost like babyish. And Carrey, I just can't see Jim Carrey doing that.
Yeah, not as well at least.
Yeah. It would kind of, I mean, I love Jim Carrey, but it would kind of be creepy if he did it for some reason. It's just something about it, like, I don't know. But I mean, Jim Carrey's great in other Christmas roles, like The Grinch, but...
Let's go to that then. What do you think of that movie? As the movie as a whole.
I know there's a huge, like, cult following around it, and I appreciate that, and, like, I'm starting to see why. but I wasn't like crazy about it. I mean, like I still liked it. It just wasn't. I didn't feel the same way as other people did.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think Jim Carrey is really, really good in it.
Yes, yeah.
He's amazing in it. It's some of the best. I think maybe the best makeup I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
Because he's caked in it, but he can still do his facial expressions and still move around in it. And I think everything with like him and his layer is really good. That's a good half of the movie. Everything in Whoville kind of drags and is boring. And
Yes.
None of the Who's are likable, and the moral of their story doesn't work in the end.
Yeah, the Who's like suck.
Yeah, because the whole idea of the original was that he steals all the presents. The Who's come out and they're just so happy it's Christmas they start singing. And it's not bad. I like that they did something different for the movie. That's necessary, so you're not just doing the same.
Yeah, there's more like a plot to them.
And so it's like, oh, they're too commercial and they're consumerism, and it's only when then they're all complaining, oh, the presents are gone. And then Lou Who gives a speech and they're like, oh, no, he's right. And then the presents come. It's like, well, no, they didn't earn it. They only just learned that they don't need the presents.
Yeah.
And even then, they didn't. It was 5 minutes when they didn't have them, and then the present showed up. It's so much more powerful in the 20-minute cartoon when they all walk out of their houses and they start singing just because it's Christmas. They didn't even notice the presents are gone. Welcome Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, what about the... Have you watched it yet? The Illumination Grinch?
No, I have such little interest in it. And I love The Grinch. The book is so good, the cartoon is so good, the movie has some good enough stuff in it.
Yeah, the movie's good. I'll say that. The movie's good.
Yeah. But that movie, it just looks so... The Grinch is supposed to be kind of dirty and grimy and mean and rough around the edges, and the movie just looks so sanitized. It didn't look like they were going to make him that bad a guy.
Yeah.
And I just didn't like the look of that animation, and Cumberbatch was doing his weird American accents. I remember when they cast, like, oh, Benedict Cumberbatch is playing the Grinch, I was like, oh, that would be perfect. He already has the strangest face of any man on the planet. He'll look just like the book. And then they put him in the makeup, and then I learned it was animated.
Oh, you thought it...
I thought it was a live action ring.
Yeah, I just didn't understand why they needed to tell another Grinch story when the Jim Carrey one is pretty highly regarded.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna... For a 20-page picture book, they made an hour-and-a-half movie out of it, which is already a challenge, and I think they did a good enough job. I don't think you can do it better than what they did, even though I don't think the movie's great.
Yeah.
I would agree that the same people who think Grinch is better than Elf are the same people who think Seinfeld, or the same people who think Friends is better than Seinfeld.
Why is that?
I don't know. I prefer Elf, I prefer Seinfeld, and I feel like there's a through line between the other two. Just not like, I don't want to say a lower class of humor, because humor is subjective, but just not quite what I see.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Just a tad too simplistic and in your face, I guess, is what it is.
Funny story with the Illumination Grinch, I went with my friends Johnny and Luke, the boys of Gravy Talk. Shout out. We were in the movie theater. I watched maybe like 10 minutes. I fell asleep. Not because I was bored. I just fell asleep. Woke up, 2 minutes left. But for what it's worth, those 12 minutes, solid.
They seem fine to you, okay.
Yes. I have to rewatch it to see what the hell happened in the middle. But yeah, it was solid. And that's all I could have asked for, I guess. I mean, I guess it's cool that because the animated movie is, dated. I mean, I still think the animation has such a novelty to it. I don't think it'll ever get old.
The 60s one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a perfect translation from the book. It's really, really good.
Yeah, but I appreciated that someone wanted to give it a modern animation to kind of stand the test of time a little more. But I think the Grinch is fine. The original is safe where it is. Yeah,
and I like the story and I like the character enough that I'm not going to say, oh, they should never touch it, but we've got enough stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got enough stuff already.